Good afternoon, it's Patrick Penn, State Representative for House District 85 on the northeast side of Wichita. Thanks for joining me for Pat's Points, where I tell you a little bit of what we've been doing both in committee and on the House floor for you this week. This week we heard House Concurrent Resolution 5014. It deals with legislative oversight. Now, you've heard about the swamp in DC. We have that same thing happening here in Topeka. We have year-round bureaucrats who are making rules and regulations that have the force of law, and it completely changes the legislation that we craft and create. But they don't make the law. We do. That's what you sent me here to do. So this bill will help us in that effort. In House Fed and State, this morning we passed out favorably the Convention of States bill by a vote of 14-8, overwhelming support. That will be coming up on the House floor shortly. We also heard Senate bill and passed it out, Senate Bill number 2, which deals with alcohol on the state fairgrounds. So expect more for that one as well. Next week, I hope that we have above the line House Bill 2570. I'll be carrying in that one, and it deals with close election audits. Now, if you have an election on election night and it's within a 1% margin, it would automatically trigger an audit so that we have integrity in our election system. I'll be carrying that bill and I'll keep you informed as well. Now, when we go to Children and Seniors Committee, this week we've had a couple of bills that are dealing with our disabled care facilities and our elder care facilities. So we passed out Charlie's Law to protect some of our elders from being evicted unnecessarily. And we also passed out House Bill 2524. This bill would deal with putting a wage cap or cost cap on those facility workers, and I don't think that that's the job of the government to be into private sector picking winners and losers. So there'll be more to follow on House Bill 2524. Now, we're standing here in front of the Brown versus the Board of Education mural here at the State House, and it's pretty apropos for us because on K-12 Education Budget Committee that I sit on, this week, actually last night, we did a bundling of a number of bills, most of which I am very, very excited about, all of which I approved. Now, these had a whole lot of different areas that we touched on, so I want to go down that list and help you understand just a little bit about that. KSHA, the Kansas High School Athletic Association, participation, extending that out to both homeschool and private school students as well as public school students. And that is so important because post-COVID, we've been hearing a lot of testimony about how kids need to have that physical and mental outlet. And I think that this will do a world of good for our Kansas students. Part-time enrollment and open enrollment. Now, right now, the student base aid or the state base aid that is paid for students is about $19,000 per head. If you can have that type of money following a student across the school district so that they can go to a school that is actually teaching them, I think that these are two good bills that anyone would want to get behind. Credit recovery in virtual schools and their graduation credit. We have students that aren't, going the traditional path, but they need to be able to graduate so they can get into the workforce and pursue their own dreams. So that's why we put those bills in as well. Learning Everywhere follows in line with that, as well as something called the Student Empowerment Act, where we have ESAs, Educational Savings Account. Again, $19,000 is the base that students would have to have followed them to whatever school meets their needs so that they can be properly educated and not indoctrinated. Speaking of indoctrination, let's talk about the Parents' Bill of Rights. We put that in as well to put you, the parents, in the driver's seat of your child's education. Things need to be transparent and they need to be accountable, so we put in the Parents' Bill of Rights. Along those same lines, we tried to curb up and tighten up what goes on with SEL surveys, social emotional learning surveys. These are some types of surveys that your students are getting, have to fill out. They go into some areas that you probably wouldn't approve of, but it's all being done without your permission, so we tighten that up as well. All of these bills you can find on my website, or you can find in my newsletter. If you have any questions or concerns about these, just reach out to me. Shoot a note to us here at the State House, or reach out to me at patrickpenn.com. And I appreciate your help and your time, and let me know what you need, okay? Have a great weekend.